now.
Yeah? Hello, good afternoon, good evening. If you're in England like we are, with actually a bit of sun for a change. First of all, I apologise, I got a girl mannequin. She's been helping me practice long hair, because I imagine when all this is over, we're going to have lots of long hair to cut, right? So, what we're going to do is we're going to do a side parted haircut today. And yeah, first of all, it's kind of cool actually doing like a long one, because we used to do with REUZEL, we used to do all of those really big freestyle videos. So I think they're still on the YouTube, on the Score YouTube channel, so check them out. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove a lot of length that I really don't need. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be practicing long hair on her anymore. So I'm over directing all of that hair that I might need. So I'm coming from the top all the way down, all the way. About there. There we go. Mannequin head. No match for the Score Mitsutanis. Right. So, to start with, I'm going to put some of the REUZEL hair tonic in the water. Mainly because I like the psychology of hair and of products as well. The big thing about this one, not only is it amazing for degreasing customers that come in, so it's going to reset the product already in the hair, so that it's easy to manipulate and to put into shape. The other thing that I love about it is the scent. Now the way your brain works is you remember. What?
I've been asked to.
You've been asked to turn it that way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The way your brain works is you remember smells the same way as you do sounds. For example, or when I do a class normally, I like to use the example, if I asked anyone to rap a whole Eminem song, you probably couldn't do it. Whereas if I said to you, if it was in the car on the radio and it was playing, you could probably sing along to the whole song. The way your mind works, it works the same way with smells. So if you can get your customer to have that perfect haircut and remember that scent, it's also going to mean if he ever goes somewhere else, something's always going to be missing, no matter how nice the haircut might be. So a good bit of psychology is using that one. Okay, to start with, we're going to find our baselines. And there's two tricks to this. You can either go from the front here, but obviously on a mannequin head, the distance is ridiculously short, and it's the same on every mannequin head. So the other way is if you put your comb flat to the head and follow it around, you see it's actually about there is the widest point of the head. Yeah? So then I know if I'm making my section now, I know I can start my baseline there, and I'm right on a ridge. This is super important because what this is actually going to do is this is going to determine the haircut. If I get this wrong, the whole haircut's wrong. So it's always a great place to start. The three things that I really want you guys to remember from today, and it's the same that I do in all of my classes, is I want you to remember the skull structure, growth pattern, and 90 degrees. All these three things are essentially extremely important, because you're going to need the growth pattern of the hair to determine, say, what style you're going to go for. If somebody wants a side part haircut that we're going to go for today, the growth pattern of the actual spiral should dictate which side the parting's going on, right? Because to me, every classic haircut should be able to lie back. So for example, with like the flat top, if you grew that out, it's going to lie straight back. If you have a side part, all the layers should be able to come back. If you have a pompadour, you can turn it into a vanguard. You get what I mean. So, what am I doing? Right, so to start with, we're going to do our baseline. And also, I know it's locked down, but I live with my brother, so he's filming. Say hello to the nice people, Martin.
Hi.
There's a good lad. And it's not only that, it's also the shop's birthday today. So we actually made it to 1. So I'm super happy that my shop has survived that first year. And if you have a business or a shop, you know that that first year is probably one of the toughest challenges to do. So yeah, I'm super happy that we made our first year. Cool, so we said about growth pattern, and that's going to determine like part of the style of the haircut. The next one we're going to look at is the skull structure. So the skull structure is here, and this is where I'm following that baseline to the natural curvature or skull structure of our model's head, right? So this is then when I can elevate all of the hair to our third thing we're going to talk about, 90 degrees. George, who is one of our heads of REUZEL Education for REUZEL, he says it a lot that whenever we hang out, he likes it because he learns something different. But the last time we hung out, I think it was in February, and I learned a cool little trick. I really liked it. What he was saying was, if you elevate the hair and you're going to 90 degrees off the head and you put a marble in, if you stand there, you can see it flat on. And you put a marble in, if I put it in 90 degrees, it's going to sit in the middle. If I go down to say 40 degrees, it's going to slide straight off. And then if I elevate too high, it's going to go into the head. So I really like that, so I'm stealing that one, George. Sorry, dude. So yeah, I'm going to grab all of the head I can reach, and I'm going to start at the widest point of the head and come out to 90. So here, coming out to 90, off we go. Yeah? I'm going to repeat this process to the middle of the head. So I'm going to go up. There it is. See my previous cut section? Go across. And then probably one more because it's only a little head. I can see my previous cut section. That's coming off. So already, because we elevated all of that hair to 90 degrees, we already have that really soft sort of graduation coming down. So when I actually come to do some of the scissor work, it's already going to have a sense of balance, right? So, like I said, guys, I'm Paul, I'm from England. I was fortunate enough to work at Holland, which to me will always be the biggest and best shop in the world, even though I have my own. So I'm very lucky, and I get to do a lot of cool things with REUZEL. But I want to know where you guys are from, so if you could message in the comments, and Martin here is going to tell me where you guys are from, so then yeah, we can all have a bit of a chin wag. So, what I have at the back now, because to find the baseline on the other side, is I have a really nice, just going to grab all this hair and then move it so Martin can show you. Martin, can you come around? Yeah, so we have this, and it's going to the natural curve of the head, going back to that skull structure that we talked about at the very start.
People from Montreal?
Canada. I've been there. I'm pretty sure, I think he's from there. Demo, who's actually doing a demo. He's from Canada, and he's doing a demo. He's another one of our REUZEL educators. He's doing a demo on Monday, same time. I don't know what time it is in Canada. I know Canada has different time zones, so I still don't know. But watch it on Monday. I'm sure there's going to be loads of posts about it. I'll post about it because demo is super cool. I got to meet him in February as well when we went back to Holland. Right guys, so I'm going to carry on where I left off. So I'm going to go to my previous cut baseline. Still lifting all of the hair as I go. Out to 90 degrees and across.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. That's the States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Sounded really dumb, huh? And again, a nice tip as well is remembering that the mirror is for us, it's not for our customers. So when I'm coming out to 90, the good thing you can do is come and check in your mirror, yeah? Cool. Alright. We're going to sort out these sides. So again, we're going to return to our left side first. Maybe just because I'm left-handed. I know a funny story. When we were filming the DVD, the original DVD with the signature haircut that Rob and Ling were doing, I know just to annoy George, because George was writing down all the steps, Rob would change on the side. He'd do the right, the left, and then I think it's on the long trim haircut, he starts on the back. So I'm pretty sure he did that just to mess with George. But anyway, so here I'm going to come down, I'm going to use the small teeth with my comb, and I'm going to do diagonal sections coming back. What this is going to create is this is going to actually create direction and flow within my haircut that will leave it slightly longer. So I'm coming down for my first one. I see my base, and I can see exactly what needs to come off. Again, going just about 1.5 centimeters from the last one.
Vietnam says hi.
Vietnam. Don't know why I did it in that Southern American voice, that's kind of weird. Hi Vietnam. I've always wanted to go to Vietnam. That is on the list. We had a show in England called Top Gear when it was good, and they went to Vietnam and it looked really nice. So, back to the haircut. I got distracted by Vietnam. Let's make sure we've got all of these ones. Cool. And then what I'm doing is each time I'm moving about, on the YS combs, it's about 1 centimeter or so. It's two of the little holes that we have here. And then what I'm doing is I'm trying to create as clean a section as possible as I'm moving down the head. Starting at my baseline, and then I know that I can't go wrong because I'm following that same line to start with my haircut. Yeah? So again, just following it around, following it all the way down to the nape, because we'll do a clipper taper at the end. Seeing my baseline, and I know exactly where to go. So while I'm doing this, REUZEL were kind enough to host this on their page, so I think it's only right we do a little bit of talking about REUZEL. So the main thing that I love is how it pops off the shelf, right? So if you look over to, can you see our product shelf? Yeah, so as you can see, with all the bright colours and everything, it pops off the shelf from some of the other products that we do. So this is a really cool thing when it comes to retail, because what that's doing is that the customer's eye is going to go straight to there. So my favourite product that we have, I'm going to say the red. I'm gonna say red REUZEL because it's a water-based product. But one thing that I really love to do with the red one, which is a good little tip, is if you want it to have that same greaser kind of look, is if you blow dry REUZEL red into the hair, what you're gonna have is gonna have that sort of softer, it's not going to be as sort of sticky, so it's going to soften that right up, but still keep like a very similar finish. So it's actually going to look in the hair almost like the green REUZEL. So that way, then if it's winter and it's going to rain a lot, then I'll sell them the green REUZEL. If it's summer where it's hotter, if I use like an oil-based pomade on their hair, it's going to fall. So I'll use a water-based. But if they like that finish, what I'll do is I'll blow dry into their hair. That way then, I'm actually selling the customer 2 different products to do exactly the same look. Right? So now, we're going to come on to our other side. I'm just going to repeat these steps. So starting at the point of the base. And as you can see, the direction my fingers are going is the direction I'm cutting. So I'm following this movement here. Again, two notches apart. Dead straight hair. And again, the direction my fingers are going is the direction I'm cutting. This is super important because if you think about it, same as if we did the baseline. Court did a really good job on Wednesday, I think it was, when he did his Vanguard haircut, and he was saying about double checking and bringing the hair straight out. The thing I really liked about that is that he showed you that even the direction of his fingers shows how we're actually, the direction, sorry, of the actual haircut.
What's your thoughts on clipper cutting wet hair?
Totally fine. That was easy. No, I do it a lot as well. The only reason I'm not on a mannequin head is you saw how long it was, right? It's a great way of working extremely quickly to do exactly the same sectioning as what we're doing now. However, when it's gone, it's gone. So I'm going to use the scissors on it, especially with a mannequin head, just because then I can see how the hair is going to react when we take it from really long to really short. Obviously, what's going to happen is a lot of hair, especially with my customer, if they're used to that much weight and then you chop it off, you don't know how some of the hairs are going to react. So for this, I'm doing it literally by scissors so I can see every step of the way how I go. But yeah, I'll clip her wet hair all the time. But I did it at the start when I did my baseline, right? I did the baseline with a clipper. So I said to you guys that I like the REUZEL red. It's probably my favorite. So Martin's going to tell me, I want you guys to tell me what's your favorite and why, and then Martin can read it out and we can have a bit of a discussion. Just while we're doing the sides, because especially to me, the sides bit is very boring. The same with like our 2 forum posters. 90% of the haircuts on there have short sides. The style is in the top. So while we're doing, especially to me, what's the boring bit, ask as many questions as you want. Talk to me about what your favorite REUZEL product is, and we'll have a bit of a discussion. So again, following my previous cut section, can you see that? I'm almost at the middle now. So you see, it's literally just that to go.
Dark blue because it smells the best.
Dark blue because it smells the best. That's the fibre. We actually now have a fibre cream out. I don't have one, But I've heard that's really good, so I want to try that one. And then what I'm doing is I'm just cross-checking. Scissor over combing.
Who's your favourite Scumbassador?
Who's my favourite Scumbassador? Oh. Well, I can't answer that because I haven't met all of them. So I can't say who's my favourite. What I can say is the ones that I've met, we had a retreat in February and they were all super cool. We had Matt, who's from the UK as well. He came in and was basically like a genius. He got a textbook and his flight was delayed and he memorised it, so that was fun because we took the piss out of him for a while for that. The guys from Australia was super cool. Bogdan from Russia was cool. So yeah, I don't know who my favourite Scumbassador is. Alright, so next section, what we're going to do to start to connect the top is I'm going to go from the highest point of the head, which is just around the apex bone. And I'm going to section that off. And I'm going to brush everything else forward, just so it's out of the way.
Are you planning to do the Look and Learn course in Exeter after this virus is gone?
Yes, we're going to redo that and we'll actually have a model, so it won't be on my head, because, yeah. Again, like I said, the only reason I don't have a bloke's head is because I'm going to call her Wilson. Wilson here was, she was helping me with long hair. So, first thing I'm going to do is start to connect these back layers. So I'm going to direct everything across that can reach. You see it? See our base? So that's where I know I'm always safe. The way I like to explain it is it's almost like a child's book. I'm doing a dot to dot to dot to dot to dot. All I'm doing is connecting to connecting, connecting. So that's why it's so important, guys, that when we do our baseline, that it determines the shape and everything of the haircut. Yeah? So, pretty sure these layers should have been over there. Yeah. Sure. So you see, just from that, that's blending in that side there. And I'll tell you what, I enjoyed that so much, I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Just for the lulz. And for the record, today is the first day I'm happy I got to wear some work pants. For you guys in the States, I don't know how to call them trousers, but work pants, because of the whole lockdown thing. I've been rocking the jogging bottoms look. And I think this is the first time I've worn my hat out as well. So again, like the previous side, guys, I'm over directing everything, matching it to my base, and then it's blended. So now to start with, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my first triangle through this top layer. Boom. You see? So in this first one, I'm just going to lift it up, go from that base there, and I'm just going to take off all the ones that don't belong. So you see that's the shortest point.
What's the difference between white and dark blue pomade?
White and dark blue pomade. Okay, so the clay is our driest one. The clay I'd use if someone wants like a super strong look, going for something almost like a really classic pompadour kind of thing. If they want that one, because it's our strongest water-based dry look, so I'd go for the clay for something like that. The dark blue I'd use if your hair is as bad as mine and is really fine, and then that way then it's going to make it look fuller. And then because of the fibre optic technology within that product, it's actually going to expand the hair follicles and give the illusion that it's a lot fuller. while still maintaining that dry sort of look. So now the third one, the last one we're going to do with our diagonal connection coming from the apex here, is going to be dead center in the middle. And this is going to be our last one. So you see, I'm just bringing all of the hair there, and boom, I can see exactly what I need to cut. Beautiful. I'm going to repeat this process on the other side here. It's just starting to fall down, so let's get that out of the way. Yeah. There we go. So, still starting from a base. And get one, and there's our triangle back. What time is it? Oh, half an hour. So like when we did with the cutting, I'm going to go about two to three of the holes of the YS comb in. Go from my shortest point. Again, paying attention, guys, to the direction of my fingers. What this is doing is this is actually creating a natural taper within my haircut. And again, the last one is going to be from the middle. Have a look, check. Nice. Jolly good. Alright. On the side that doesn't have the parting, so we're going to put this parting on the left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from where I started here, and I'm just going to meet the top of this apex area here. Yeah? And what we're going to do is connect everything to this area. So I'm going to drag all of this across, literally like we did with that back area. As you see, I'm coming out to 90 degrees. I'm not forcing it down there. I'm just coming out of it. See my previous cut section. I'm just following that around the natural skull structure. Again, one of those words I said that we want to learn today is skull structure, 90 degrees, and growth pattern. So then what we're going to do is just brush that back, give it a little look, and you see how that's sort of connecting already. So one thing that it's good to remember, guys, is everything that we do in here is just our sketch. Yeah? So now I'm going to drag everything across that can reach. And to the ear, we're going to come out straight. Now, the way I like to work is I like working with rules. It sounds really bad because I know say to me with hairdressing, it's more about being creative with hairdressing. But for me with barbering, I like knowing certain rules. For example, whatever I do behind the ear, if the hair attaches, where the ear attaches to the head, whatever I do behind there is always going to lie down. Yeah, connection wise from my baseline, if I connect all of that to the back of the ear, it's always going to go back and it's always going to lie down. Now, when it comes to the front of the ear, this is where we can actually get like a little bit more creative. So what I'm going to do is we're going to try and leave a fair amount of length here. So I'm just going to come to my fingers with as little tension as possible, just where that section starts. And we're going to go maintain as long as we can with this. Now we're free from our face, so I'm just going to freehand that in. Cool. So now what you can see, guys, is we've got this really strong asymmetric look here, but because it's connected from there, from the behind the ear, you see how beautifully that lays down? Yeah? So again, it's working with rules, and I actually really like rules. Right, on the side of the parting, usually, like I said, the hair's got to be able to come straight back, right? And even with this, gravity is going to help me determine where that parting is going to go. So I've just brushed it back, you just saw that, and then if you come here, can you see, because I don't want to move the head, you see that natural split that's just occurred right there? So that's where the parting is going to be. Gravity is telling me that's where it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that as my finishing point. So I'm going to go from recession, yeah? So one of the things that I like to do in my store when I'm working is I try and give the customer as little input as possible, especially when it comes to length, especially when it comes to how much to take off, because it's more important that, you know, you go with the style. So again, here I'm going to go from my baseline. I'm just going to start attaching from the side part there. Yeah? And then once again, brush this back. I hope you guys can see how nice this has fallen already. And we've got all of that length to play with. So what I'm going to do is, remember I said literally just down, I said the one thing that I really like is I try not to give my customers almost too much information. So then look what happens if I lift all this hair up. It's going to give me a guide on where to cut straight away. Boom, you see what that hair started to drop? It just fell there. We can do that again. There's it going to go? Boom. That's what's coming off. You see that? So I'm using what I've already cut for the style to determine, that's a lot of hair, to determine the length of the finish that's going to be on the top. So again, I'm going to now use the wider part of the teeth and I'm just going up 90 degrees from the head. See, at this point, you see I wouldn't have needed to ask my customer how much to take off because the haircut for the style has already told me. Does that make sense? I'm sure Martin will tell me if it does or doesn't. So again, one thing to remember is everything that we're doing with wet hair is essentially just our sketch. Now with the parted side, what we're going to do is we're just going to come dead straight from that parting. Dead straight. To retain that squareness within our haircut. That's why the question I get asked a lot is, would I cut a girl's hair? It's like, yeah, as long as they have a squared haircut. And then back to our side here. And again, I'm going to elevate everything up. And what you see is a little triangle. Just to finish the connection. Boom, boom, boom. There, there. Drag that back. There's a triangle. Cool. And then to check it, I'm just going to drag everything that can reach to the middle. Just a smidgen there. And a smidgen there. Alright. So we've got now our basic shape. What I'm going to use is some of our new grooming spray. Now, this has 70% the consistency of our grooming tonic. Now this is really important because it's not the same. So, especially because in barbershops, we're more likely just to pour it into our hands, rummage it through, and away we go. Whereas in the salon environment, it's going to make a lot of mess, right? So I'm just going to put that through the hair. Put our parting back in. And then we're going to start blow drying. So I'm going to use my vent brush. And just to be consistent, I'll put it on medium heat. And to start with, I'm going to go with blow drying in that parting. I'm securing that in. So I'm starting at the back here. And then as it becomes dry, I'm going to then use a cold. And what this is going to do is this is going to lock in that shape. Yeah? And again on this side. Blow dry in the back. So if you stand there, chap, and then I'll move it to you. Right, and remember we locked in that other side, so it's going to be a lot easier for me to find it. So again, I'm starting with the back. So one of the ways I like to try and create lift is I call it a Superman. I don't know what the technical term is. I'm basically going to use an S to blow dry in that front, just give it a little bit of lift. Do you see?
How long does it take to do your haircuts normally?
In the shop we offer either a 30-minute service or a 45 if it's like restyle or skin fade, then it'll be a 45-minute service. Okay, let's have a look at Wilson. Cool. So you see we've got some like detail work to do, but you can see that basic shape is already there. So for detailing, I'm going to use my clipper and my comb. I'm just going to tidy things up. A little bit tighter on that. Yeah, so again, all I'm doing is simply just detailing the work that we've already done. Nice. Alright, at the nape here, I'm going to go pretty much like, it kind of doesn't have an obstacle bone, but what we're going to do is I'm going to clip over comb the majority of this bit at the bottom, and that way then, when we actually do our taper, I've already done half of the job. But the rule is, whatever you do below the apex bone, you're safe. If you go beyond that, that's when you start to get in trouble. What time is it? 15 minutes. What? Is it going to run out of battery? What's it on?
4%.
4%. Oh dear. There should be a plug, Martin, just over there with a charging port. Yeah, there you go. I'll grab you this one. you go. There you are, and I'll cut that one from there. You got it?
Yup.
Cool. So guys, all I'm doing is literally detailing a little bit around the ear. Yeah? Is that all sorted now, Mark? It's charging?
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, I'm going to move Wilson around because Mark can't move anymore. But at least you get another angle of my store, so. There we go, she's happy. Right, tapering. Right, because we're going pretty tight, I'm going to use a number 3 to start with. Just at the bottom here, just to tidy it up. And again, I can afford to actually take this pretty high. I can get it towards the apex opposite skull, and then clip over comb that in. So just like with my fingers, I'm using my comb in exactly the same way. .5. I'm going to dip Wilson's head a little bit. I want to go 2 clicks.
They want the mannequin a bit closer.
We got it? Is that better?
Yeah.
2 clicks. 1, 2. 1. Close. Next, I'm going to grab my number 1. Close. I'm going to adjust above that. Then with my 0.5, 2 clicks again, that's going to fade into my number 1. Then 1 click, then close. Then I know I started with a 3, so I know what goes into that is a 2 open or a 2.5. Then a 2 closed. .5 open, sorry. 1.5 closed. Number 1 all the way open. Two clicks. Close. Then what I can choose to do to refine it is I can either clip over comb or we can use our scissors. So I'm just going to use our scissors just to soften up. It's like just really gentle, softening up that transition zone. Yeah, so from the side there you can see, like I said, whatever you do below the apex you're safe. It's when you go above it, then it's buggered. Right, I'm going to remove a little bit of weight with my blending scissors. And the important thing is here, guys, I'm only going at the ends. I'm not going to the scalp. So I'm just going to go with the hair. Then when I brush all of that down that we did from the top layer, now I can go into slicing, which is the amazing thing about our blending scissors, is they're actually designed to do that because of the curvature of the blade with little to no drag absolutely at all. Then with the top, I want to use these to accent parts of the hair. So I'm going to accent that front area. So what I'm going to do is elevate that hair, and I'm going to ignore that front. I'm just going to take off those tips from just behind. Alright, what product do you guys want to see, do you think we should use, and then I'll use the first one on that post, if I've got it. Which one is it?
Pink.
Pink. Pink it is. Right, Right. See how my tin is? Maximize the most out of a tin. Just go around those edges like so. Use it in the palm of your hand. You're going to emulsify the product. And look, this is where it gets important, because a lot of people, especially guys, is they'll just clump from the front back. So I'm actually going to start with my product actually at the back and then working it through ends to the front. But you can see, because of how we did our baseline and the techniques that we used, we can retain all of this length here, and it blends into this length, which is about 1 centimeter on the sides. Another scoop. Emulsify it, like I said, within your hands. We're going up, up, up. Moving it evenly through the hair. Yeah. Ugh. Right, using my afro pick. The good thing about using these guys is actually they're brilliant for distributing the product evenly within the hair. Just going to hold on to Wilson's head so she doesn't just fly off. Does a bit of a Mary Poppins and disappears. So again, I'm literally just lightly going through and making sure my REUZEL pink is evenly distributed within the haircut. Just a reminder, guys, that demo is doing a demo. I don't even it's funny. Demo is doing a demo on Monday. The DD, Demo Day, is doing a demo on Monday. Alright. So, when it comes to styling, one of the things that I try and teach is, I think it's useful to learn a different technique with a different word. So, I teach people, if they don't already know, the German word for the word butterfly, which is Schmetterling. So, I try and be as gentle as possible within combing my hair. I'm really not forcing the hair. I'm being as delicate as a butterfly as I can be. So I'm pretty sure I stole that one from Mikey, who's the manager at the shop. So if he's watching, then I'm sure he'll send me a message telling me that I did steal it from him. But what this does is this creates the minimum tension, and I'm allowing the hair to fall as naturally as possible. Finish off, I'll do it with my comb. Just nice and gentle, like the Schmetterling. And what I'm doing is, you see what I'm concentrating on the parted side first, then I'm going to go directly to the other side, and then all that's left is the front. Luckily I've got my mirror in front of me, and I'm just going to give it a little bit there. Nice and gentle, just catching flyaways. Alright guys, so this has been my side parted executive comp thing with a taper. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, Monday is demo day, D-E-M-O, day. Thank you to REUZEL for having me, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening and good night.